Hello, and welcome back to a post-commentary for, well, just kind of the optional bosses, I guess. This is in relation to the special episode that I made. And the other two last episodes that I made, just of me trying to find the O-ball for this boss here. And, yes, so I found it. You guys only saw an hour of me looking around. It took about 4. I hate fucking luck-based shit. Anyway, so the reason why I'm bringing up this boss, and I mean I plan on showing everyone these bosses just to kind of talk about their designs, if they're well-designed or badly designed or things. And you know what? I've got to do something for this fight. That clap is a good thing. This fight is possibly the best designed fight I've actually come across in the game so far, because it completely removes the luck-based elements of the game, actually. You see, unlike the Alexander fight, which I talked about why I hated it, it was because there was absolutely no way to control the tiny little skeleton heads, and they just kind of kept spawning, and there was nothing you could do to stop it. In this fight, you can actually completely control the boss because it has it seems like a simple enough pattern of just constantly trying to follow you. However, it leaves small fireballs behind it. And you know what? You can control where the fireballs are left by more or less controlling where the boss goes, because its AI is simple. It has a lot of health, but you are also, on top of being able to control the boss, you're also given enough room to control the boss. Like, the stage itself is big enough for you to run around, and there's no bullshit spikes or anything. God fucking damn spikes. Like, that's something else that this fight does right. And I happen to think that this fight is the best designed fight, even more than the first time you fight the Ponce de Leon, because in his fight, there's actually a random element to it. There's those spike balls that are there that just kind of randomly shoot about and hit you for no reason. You can see that in the actual failures episode that I made. Anyway, in this fight, though, it's completely removed. And I fucking love that. Because the fight is no longer about luck. It's not, oh, well, I mean, hopefully you're just not in the wrong spot at the wrong time. It's, no, you put yourself in this corner on purpose. And you are the only one to blame for making the boss move into a certain direction, or trying to make the boss move. And I think that is phenomenal design. This is great. It actually makes me enraged that the Alexander fight is designed so poorly. Like, the fact that this fight is designed so well, and that you're actually given equipment to deal with the actual boss's attacks. Like, you've probably seen a couple times some of the little fireballs just randomly disappear or explode or whatever. That's because of the barbarian's ability to use Foos, which completely wipes the screen of projectiles and things of that nature. So in this fight, not only are you given an actual ability that's useful for the fight, but on top of that, you control the boss. It's like you're given an ability that you can actually use to control your environment a little bit. You have the ability to control the boss, but the ability itself isn't overpowered. Like, you might be thinking, oh, well, I mean, being able to get rid of all the projectiles on screen, isn't that kind of trivialize the boss? Well, it doesn't, because as you can see right now, it costs mana, and I'm out of mana. So now the rest of the fight I have to play perfectly if I actually want to win. So you can only do that 3 or so times. So the fight becomes managing if you want to get rid of projectiles on the screen, control the boss, hit the boss, and the boss doesn't have a random element to it. And oh my god, I love it. This fight is so well designed, once again, that it actually enrages me that the Arthur or the Alexander, I don't remember what his fucking name is. Look, the point is, that dude's fight is so piss poor in design terms. I'm just talking about purely from a actual, and you kind of see me. I know in the other video I call that rage killing myself. I actually don't think that's rage killing in this case, because the entire time I was playing, I was not mad. I was actually smiling and having fun. Something that I can't say for either Kiter or Alexander. was so fucking mad at during those fights. During this one, I was smiling and I was like, oh no, I'm just not playing perfectly. It's my fault. And that's something you should always make the player feel whenever they're playing against a boss. A boss is supposed to be the player's skill. So whenever they get hit, it should feel like it's their fault. And every time I get hit during this fight, I actually feel like it's my fault. For the most part. There are some times where I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, for example, whenever I was at the top of the screen, I kind of decided to go down, and I just couldn't see a green fireball beneath me, and I just ended up taking damage. Like, but that's something else. That's something else completely. Look, the point is, I'm trying to get across is, whenever I got hit, it always felt like my fault. And I really, really like that. I mean, there are a couple elements to this fight that I think could have been designed better, in all honesty. For example, I kind of wish that the green balls themselves, like, because they do disappear on their own, I wish they kind of changed color to reflect that. Because just having them always green, it kind of leaves a little bit to, like, you're never going to know if they're about to disappear, if you need to waste your foos. If they actually change color to show that they're disappearing, then I think that would have been designed a little bit better. But, I mean, it can't be perfect. I mean, not every, like I said, this is the best fight that I've encountered so far in the game. It's not the best boss fight I've ever encountered, it's just the best one in the game so far. And I felt like I should praise it a bit. However, I do need to, I feel the need to say this, just get it off my chest because I'm still mad at the Alexander fight. So, whoever designed this boss fight, the Ponce de Leon, like, if this, like, Cellar Door Games, I'm pretty sure is the name of the company that made this game. Whoever made the Ponce de Leon fight, or the Ponce de Frion fight like this, give that motherfucker a raise. The dude did an excellent job with this fight. He understands what a challenge is, which is what I actually think this boss is. A challenge. This is not a rage game kind of fight, and whatever, like the other boss. This is an actual challenge. That dude needs a raise. The dude who made the Alexander fight? Fire that motherfucker. Fire him. I don't care if the boss of the company made that fight. Fire the boss. Whoever made the Ponce de Frion fight, make him the boss of the fucking company. Because this fight is amazing, and it understands what you need to have to be a good boss fight. And, yeah. I mean, the only things that aren't really fun about this boss, in all honesty, was finding his fucking O-ball, which took way too long. Way too long. You guys only saw me an hour of me looking for it, but once again, that took me 4 hours to actually find. And way too many kids, maybe way too many kids, way too many descendants of in this game, because most of the time, since it was based off of luck, whether or not I was going to find the damn O-ball, it was just really, really annoying to look for the damn thing. Anyway, one other thing that I kind of think could have... I'm trying to think of how to explain it, but the only thing that kind of is luck about the fight, even remotely, is when he's going to decide to move forward. See, whenever you see him charged, he has a very obvious, like, he glows, right? You see that. However, whenever he decides he's just going to start floating around again, there's nothing that lets you know about it whatsoever. He doesn't blink. He doesn't, like, his flames don't change in any way. He just starts moving forward again. And I do actually think that's kind of badly designed, but not nearly as much as, like, anything else. Like, that's just a small minor point that could have been dealt with, but the rest of the fight is, once again, very well designed. It's very simple as well. I do admit, like, the fight itself is simple, but it's, once again, I can't stress this enough, it's well designed, and it's fun. Man, I'm honestly, like, I'm trying to get my words right to describe how I feel about this fight, because I can't stress it. Oh, well, I mean, you see, there is a bit of a perfectionist in me, because the second I got hit, I was like, I can't win this fight, so I just sat there and killed myself. Like, I didn't even hit him once. But, once again, I'd never felt like that was rage killing myself. I thought I just wanted to improve my chances of actually winning. And as you can see during the fight, I'm actually getting a lot better at controlling his AI, controlling his everything. It's just... I just wish Alexander's fight was designed more like this. Not exactly like this, because, I mean, then you just have the exact same boss fight in a row. But honest to God, just finding a way to being able to control the fucking skeleton, so making it so that the player can have, like, control over when the tiny skeleton heads would appear. Because here, there's a bit of a time limit for whenever the little fireballs appear, but because you're able to control where the dude moves for the most part, you don't really worry about it as much. However, with the tiny skeleton heads, they fly all over the fucking place. They do whatever they want. They just go, and they spawn in under a time limit. But what I much would have preferred, if you're going to have an enemy that randomly floats about and just does shit, I would have made it a lot more about... I know I said this before, and I might be beating a dead cat with, like, a fucking stick. Is that the saying, or is it a dead horse? Anyway, I much would have preferred, like, it would have been a damage thing. Like, if I hit him 3 times, then 2 skeleton heads would have popped out. If I hit him, like, 6 times, then maybe 4 skeleton heads would pop out. Like, something like that. I much would have preferred something of that nature. And I also would have preferred actually having a useful ability. Because as far as I'm concerned, the teleportation thing was fucking useless. It was only good for 1 moment, and that was about it. I mean, here, Foos is amazing. Having this here is just, it's actually complements the boss fight, and it actually makes you think about how to move around. Having the teleportation thing, I never once felt like that. I was just like, so, I use this to teleport in between the fucking spikes once, and maybe again, but because the random little skeleton heads are flying everywhere, I'm just going to hit them as I fucking teleport across the spikes again, and it's enraging, so... Oh, God, I don't want to keep talking about the Alexander fight. I fucking hate that fight. But I really do want to gush about how well designed this one is, still. Because that's what it is. Although I do admit, design-wise, having a small ball with like 4 eyes and fire isn't the most creative thing in the world, but that's not what I'm judging. I'm not judging that, because if I was, then this wouldn't be a very creative boss at all, because Alexander is almost the exact same fucking thing. But once again, I'm not judging based off of like color schemes or like differences in what it looks like in the game. I'm just from a game mechanics perspective. This fight is great. And yeah, I think that's about as much as I can gush over a single fight. Oh, before I forget, the other thing that is great, the runes are all useful, and there I go, kind of like upping my chances of trying to win because I'm killing myself. The runes are all useful for that fight, unlike the fucking Alexander fight. Yes, I'm gonna keep talking about it. Fuck that fight. I really don't like it. I'm sorry. I know I sound like a broken record, but that fight is so terribly designed. Anyway, most of the runes didn't feel like they helped me at all. I had like a double jump, a dash, and something that allowed me to heal and get magic back. But at no point did I ever feel like I needed the magic back rune, or I did feel like I kind of needed the health rune, because I mean, killing shit was useful for health, but it was so minuscule that I never felt it was useful enough. Like, if I was healing back 10 health every time I killed a skeleton head, it probably would have been a lot better. I probably wouldn't have nearly as complained as much. But the fact that you had to kill 10 skeleton heads to heal back what one little skeleton head's damage did was infuriating. And once again, that could have all been fixed with just setting the skeleton heads on a timer, maybe upping or if you want to keep it random, fine, just up the amount of health you would have gotten back, and maybe even remove the fucking fact that you can regenerate health. I mean, not health, regenerate mana, because that felt useless. The mana thing, just getting that back, I never once came close to running out of mana. Why did you even bother? It costs like 4 to actually use my ability. And there's no way in hell I would use my ability. Oh shit, I gotta do simple math. I'm just gonna go ahead and say like 22 times. 23 times, because you had like a 90 mana bar. Anyway, God, I'm going to shut up about the Alexander fight. I'm just going to now just look at this fight, and because this fight's coming to a close, and as you can see, the video is coming to an end, so this is obviously the successful attempt. I killed the Ponce de Frion, and I got the medallion. And once again, I don't know what the hell these medallions do. I'm just assuming it's like a separate ending, or something special happens if I gather all of them and fight the final boss, I'm sure. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and next time, I guess we'll go into the land of darkness.